I am so excited for yet another epic Rebel Radio conversation. I've got Sherita Bagby here. I'm so excited to dive into a conversation. Her and I have never actually met, so this is the first face-to-face conversation we're going to have. Welcome to the show, Sherita, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled to be here. I got to tell you, I was super excited to get a message from you because I was like, oh my God, we vibe. And I know what you mean. My husband's always like, so how do you know them? I'm like, oh, we're Facebook friends.
Right? I meet more people on Facebook than I do in real life.
I know, right?
So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, the magic that is Sherita.
So like you said, my name is Sherita Bagby. I'm an intuitive life coach, and I help business women connect their purpose to their passion to create more profit. You know, my whole motto is purpose plus profit, or purpose plus passion equals profit. So what I do is I take my women to the Caribbean. We sit on the beach for a week, dive into some juicy intuitive waves, clean up their vibration, 10x their confidence, and really get them aligned with their soulmate clients. At the end of the day, it just boils down to authenticity.
Yeah, it does, really. I'm going to come to the beach. That's happening.
So we're going to do that. I feel like a collab coming on.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, your journey of self-mastery and how you've come to be where you are today.
You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned this because this has actually been something I've been working on developing my story lately. And really my story kind of starts back I'll say about 2007, 2008, when I started finding myself having a lot of health issues and high blood pressure, extreme acne, depression, anxiety, you name it, I felt it coming on. And the issue, the doctor tells you is that, you're going to need to get on these medications for the rest of your life, and we're going to manage the symptoms. And I was like,
oh, hell no.
What? And especially at the time, I couldn't even afford all of that, like all those monthly medications. And so my journey actually started through a health transformation. I really got excited about natural health, and I figured out how to get rid of my diabetes. And as I did so, by default, my blood pressure came down. And all of a sudden, one day I had this aha moment, and I realized, holy cow, now that I'm healthier, I swear to you, I'm smarter. Like I literally felt my IQ go up. And I was like, that's why people say when you clean up your gut, you clean up your mind. Yeah. Because as my body started to transform, like the brain fog started to clear away. Mm-hmm. And so what happened during this big 80-pound loss transformation is people started asking me questions. They were seeing me on Facebook, like, how are you working out? What are you doing? And one day, honest to God, I woke up around 6 a.m., jumped on my phone, started answering questions, didn't get out of bed until 10 a.m. And then I was like, you know what? I should probably get certified and I could get paid to do this. Like people are coming to me with questions and I have the answers. So cut to a few years later, the more and more I got into health coaching, what I started realizing was you can give somebody a meal plan and a fitness plan. You can tell them exactly what to do. But if they don't have the mindset, they're not going to, it's just not going to work for them. Yeah. So I got into more mindset coaching, and the deeper I got into that, and the thing about coaching or anytime you teach something is the more and more you do it and you teach it, the more and more you learn it and internalize it. So as I'm teaching others, I'm noticing within myself, okay, so I'm getting my mindset right, but a lot of this mishmash in my mind is a manifestation of something much deeper. And it led me into spiritual coaching, which a few years later led me to where we are now, which is intuitive life coaching. And what I found ultimately within myself is the more and more accepting of myself I became. I mean, I know this is a big stretch from like I'm fat and have diabetes to goddess life, right?
You did the work.
What I ultimately found from all of this was the more and more in alignment with myself, mind, body, and spirit that I am, the more and more confident I am, the more and more I find that things just kind of start to line up for me. The more and more I don't have to feel bad about being a weirdo in a crowd full of normal people, right? I think you get that being Rebel Radio. So really
express your weirdness.
Right. My journey came about starting with the health transformation. And again, the biggest thing that I found was the more and more I started helping others, honestly, it just forced me to go deeper and deeper. And let me tell you, I am my best coach and I am also my worst client. Period.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
I am my best coach and I am also my worst client. So cut to today, it's all about intuitive life and really just digging down to the deepest level of authenticity, because the more authentic we are and the more we stand within that power, oh my gosh, the more in alignment we are with everything that we want in life and the purpose for why we're here.
Exactly. I love that so much. So this has been a journey of self-mastery for you, obviously.
Big time.
Self-mastery to me is this term that everybody has a different definition for. So I always love to ask the question, what does self-mastery mean to you?
So this is really awesome. I'm so glad you asked this, because self-mastery to me is not about control.
Yes.
In the past, it always was. It was like, especially when you're first coming into woo-woo world and in the land of spirituality, people are like, oh, you got to learn to control your emotions, or don't let these things rule you. And the thing that I really realized at the end of it was it all came down to really kind of neutralizing my energy, becoming unconditional. So no matter what happens, whether rain or shine, whether I sign 2 clients this month or I sign 100 clients this month or no clients this year, I'm still freaking awesome. I'm still amazing. I'm still who I am. My life is still perfect. My journey is perfect, no matter what, right? And no matter what, I'm always moving forward. And the biggest thing about self-mastery that I had to overcome was, and again, when you're new into the spirituality and intuitive world, you're like, oh my gosh, these things keep happening to me. It must be all wrong and I'm doing it wrong. And the biggest thing I learned is that contrast is really for my benefit. Anytime I find myself in a difficult or frustrating position, I've learned to get excited about it, because that means there's a level up on the other side.
Right? Yeah, I always look at that, like that trigger as, oh, that's the opportunity. That's my pathway through. Dive right in.
It's here so that I can get over it.
Right? I always used to say that, the universe isn't happening to you. The universe is saying, get your shit together and clear this so that you can have what you want. Right? Oh, so good. So good. So another thing that we love to talk about at Rebel Radio, which you're going to dig this, wealth. Wealth is another word that people have a hard time defining or sometimes very triggered by.
Yes.
So what does wealth mean to you?
This is a fun question, especially given the year that we've been in, and especially given the season that we're in and people are spending, shopping. In the business world, a lot of us are working on our end of the year goals and what have you. So wealth is kind of fun because you're right. A lot of people are triggered by it. And I will be the first to admit I was one of them for a very long time. Very long time. Like, I wanted to be this magnificent, like Tony Robbins style coach. Because let's keep it real. Tony Robbins is worth $500 billion, right? He's worth $500 million. But yet on the flip side of the coin, I would look at people with money and I'd be like, bitch. Like,
right?
They are so selfish. Like, I just don't even,
What do you need a house that big for?
Right? If there's only 2 people, why do they need 6 bedrooms? Or I can't believe they spent all that money on that. Do you know how many people that could feed? Like, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, to be offensive to anybody, but what I'm getting at is the biggest thing that wealth that I had to overcome and recognize is that wealth for me is not necessarily a number, we can say this all day. It's an energy, it's a vibration. Yeah. But the biggest thing about wealth is that it exists at all times and it's available for all of us. Yes. I always tell people there's no lack on this earth. No, there's genuinely no lack on this earth. Yes, there are people who have some more than others, but what I think we also tend to do, if you don't mind, I'm going to sidebar for a hot second. Sure. I think we tend to take, especially in Western culture, we take our very, and I'm just going to say like Western, North American way of living. Like, we are comfortable. Even poor people have cable and cell phones, right?
Right.
I mean, let's just keep it real. And then we look at other nations and we go, because you don't live by my standards, oh my God, we need to feel bad and give and give and give, and we shouldn't have as much, because there's so much lack in the world. But the reality is most of those people are a lot happier than we are.
Right? I know. My mom travels to Zimbabwe quite often, and she couldn't get over the happiness that's celebrated in the villages. And she's like, they have nothing according to our standards, but they're so happy and they're constantly singing and dancing. And they don't need anything.
They've got a whole other level of wealth.
Right.
I mean, and that's why I say it's an energy. It's something you feel. Wealth isn't something that's physically obtainable because it's a subjective term. Like, at what number am I officially wealthy?
Right.
Right.
You get to pick that number.
I have $1 million, but what happens when I have $999,000 in expenses? You know what I mean? Like, so at what point is wealth? It's like, it's something you decide you either want or you don't want. It's something you decide you're in alignment with or that you can accept in your life or you can't. Like, it's such a abstract concept for me that I gotta be honest, I have a hard time putting a definition on it.
Well, I think you just did a good job. That was excellent. I had goosebumps the entire time. So we're good. I can feel that energy for sure. So what is one thing, here comes my one thing questions for you.
Okay.
What's one thing you wish every single entrepreneur knew?
That they are far more powerful than they realize.
Yeah.
Gosh, and this is me kind of reining it in because I can go on for the next 3 hours about this. But the biggest thing that I find when I run into entrepreneurs, and this is literally what my entire life purpose is about. So this was the perfect question. And you gotta bear with me because I feel myself getting emotional about it. For me, it always boils down to authenticity, because so often let's just say even in our parents' generation, there was that mentality of you go to college, you get a good job, and you work until retirement, and everybody kind of does the same thing. And there were these few key people who were entrepreneurs in the community, right? But we live in this fantastic world where you can be halfway across the world and I'm, wherever I decide to be at that moment, you know what I'm saying? And we can communicate face to face, one-on-one, and make anything happen. We live in a world where what you love to do, your deepest passions, somebody else wants to pay you to learn.
Oh, yes. Oh, the opportunity is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And so for me, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it looks like compared to everybody else. Yeah. You came here with a purpose. Your purpose is deeply intertwined with your passions. Yeah. And I live in this mindset where energy flows where attention goes. What I focus on, I help create. Energy is cyclical. What I put out, I get back. When I serve at my highest, when I play within my passions and I serve at my life purpose at my highest, guess what? Back to wealth. I get to receive at my highest. There is no lack. There are people out there who want to pay me for what I want to do. And I'm just like, what? It's fun when you get those messages when somebody's like, oh my God, girl, just saw your post. Shut up and take my money. And I'm like,
right.
Okay. Let's make sure we're in alignment. But there are people out there that are literally waiting for you to do what you do the way that you do it, because no one else on earth can do it the way that you do. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Authenticity, purpose plus passion equals profit.
Yes. And you don't need to compare yourself to anybody else because nobody can do you like anybody else.
Nobody.
So good. So good. Here's another one thing question. Yeah. What is one thing you've learned about yourself on this journey of self-mastery and entrepreneurship that you'd like to share?
Oh, gosh. I think it's the same thing that I just told you. I think the one thing that I have learned is that I'm an infinite being. And I mean that in the sense that every time I think I level up and I'm just like, I know it all.
Guess what? There's more.
There comes the contrast letting me know that there's another level up. And when I started looking at think about your oldest meditation coaches in the world or your oldest monks and your wisest people in the world. They are still meditating for more and more enlightenment. And
Right.
so the biggest thing that I've had to accept, and it's a good thing, it was just a big concept to wrap my mind around, is that I'm completely infinite.
Yeah. There's always another layer. Always
There's
another
always
level.
another layer. There's always a deeper opportunity. There's not even missed opportunities because there's always adjacent possibilities. And my spirit reminded me again today, like, Sherita, you have goals and you're moving forward, and that's awesome. But I'm going to need you to make sure you stay open to all the adjacent possibilities, because my spirit is infinite. It knows every possible way. My brain, it's only 40 years old, and it only knows from my perspective. And let's keep it honest. Let's keep it 100%. It still has some fear and lack in there.
Of course. I think all of our brains do. I don't think we ever get to the point, because we're always up leveling. We're always leaning into the unknown. It's like, oh, okay, now what? Oh, okay, now what?
Exactly.
Right? And the mind is like, what the fuck? But the heart is going, yeah, let's go that way. Let's go that way. Let's follow that breadcrumb. Ooh, look over there. Go over there. Right?
That is exactly it. And that's a big thing that also this year in particular has been the year of getting in my body.
Yes, well, as a numerologist, and it being a universal year 4, it's all about the body.
Girl, you're on it. You know.
Yes,
First of all, let me just say thank you for that confirmation.
Yeah, collectively we're experiencing that. And even COVID-19 is a direct expression of the body, right? And yeah, we can't ignore it anymore. We got to pay attention to the body. Yeah, Facts. So good. Which leads into my next question. If you could share anything with our audience about the current events of what's going on in the world, whatever you want to share, what would you share?
So I guess today, if I'm nothing but consistent, okay, the biggest thing that I would share about current events is to remain unconditional. Yeah. You're far more powerful than the mere observation of what you see. The biggest thing that I would say is to maintain the vibration of the result that you want, rather than to focus on what you see. We don't fight against anything. The very essence of fighting against something takes you outside of your natural state of wellness.
Yeah, and you're giving attention to that and therefore creating more of it. Energy
flows where attention goes. What you continually observe, you help create.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I always say to my clients. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Not what you don't want.
Not what you don't want. Not what you don't want. So I always tell people, get in the vibration of the very thing that you want to create. I want more peace in the world. Girl, I need you to go be peaceful.
Right? I want more wealth. Cool. Be wealthy.
I need you to get the vibration of wealth, because we're not we are not a vibrational match to what we want. We're a vibrational match to what we are.
Yeah. And you get to choose what you want to be.
Get to choose. It is literally a choice. You get to choose. You get to flow or control the flow of energy to you.
Yeah. Like, how fun is that?
And the thing of it is like, people are like, okay, so how do I do that? And I'm like, there's no process. Like, it literally is that simple.
Just think about it all day long.
And practice makes perfect. Let's keep it real. You know, you have those default mindsets, but when you catch yourself, I have this thing when I was first getting into switching my mindset that I would do. I would say something out of alignment, and when I catch myself, I'd go, blah, 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 rewind. And then I would restate it. Like, I'm going to neutralize that energy within me, and then I'm going to just come back and restate it in a way that's in alignment with the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Sherita, I feel like I could talk to you all day long.
Girl, we could.
We're going to talk more.
I feel a collab going on.
I do too. Absolutely. I want to thank you for being on the show. It's been a pleasure. And as always, we end Rebel Radio with one last question.
Absolutely.
What do you dream of for the world?
The biggest thing that I dream of for the world, guys, and I know I keep saying it, is deepest authenticity. Because the biggest thing, when we step within our authenticity, it creates beautiful space for other people to do other things. It gives us the opportunity to see our piece of contribution, which I think is a lot of thing that a lot of people miss. They're looking for something, but they're missing that contribution piece for fulfillment. But not only that, when you stand within your own authenticity, it really gives you compassion and appreciation for other people who are standing within theirs. And when we're in our own space, I don't have to worry about what you're doing in yours. You're not worried about what I'm doing in mine. We're all doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're moving forward because we're a part of the collective. We are not separate from the all. I am the I am. And so are you.
Oh, so good. You make me cry. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here today.